Are we about to have the return of the kitchen counter thrift haul? Stay tuned and you'll find out. Now, if I put this down in a 12 by 12 by 12, that is snug.
There's an old curiosity shop. Every once in a while I go by there for the fond recollections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Well, here's a nice little, probably made well, there's nothing on the bottom of it. A little mustard pot, jam pot. Maybe even sugar bowl with a lid if you'd like it to be. There's a little spoon inside. It's $4. It's all by itself. I'll think about that. I certainly will. Okay, well, where am I? I'm in a Goodwill, and I'm in my second shop of the day. Yeah, the first shop I wasn't in for very long. The first shop that I went into, I recognized two people that get to the shop when it opens, and they sit on chairs at the door in the back, and they stop all the carts and they grab everything before it gets out to the shelves. I don't think they should be allowed to do that, but I'm not a store manager, so I guess I better not say any more about it, other than the fact that it really ruins it, because you know you're not going to find certain things on the shelf. They're going to grab it before anybody else has a chance to get there. Well, I don't need any more of these, that's for sure. You'll find out in a minute. Because, well, I guess you know I already found some. Yeah, and I really don't do a whole lot with Pyrex, at least not with the real common patterns. I think you probably know that. Look at this little Buffalo China restaurant ware. That's $2. No saucers back here with those. I mean, no cups. And here's another one of these made in Japan sets from the 30s, and oops. Why they do it this way here, I don't know, but you can see it's kind of ridiculous that each little bowl, look at how they split the sets up. Doesn't this burn you up? We've talked about that before. So it'll sit there and it won't sell. Nope. But that's the way they have their pricing scheme here, or not scheme, but the way they do their pricing. All right, let's see. Now, since I just got here, I haven't found anything yet that I'm interested in buying. There is a lot to be seen. And I'm just gonna let the camera roll a little bit as I walk along here. There's a pretty pressed glass bowl down there on the very, very bottom. Let's go take a closer look at that. Oh, my knees didn't make a noise. It's $3.99, and yellow is on half price today. So, let me see if I can get it up here. That's kind of unusual, the pattern on that. Look at that, it has a polished bottom. Oh, I don't know. I kind of like it, but I don't know. I guess it doesn't have enough pizzazz. Is that a word? Pizzazz? Well, if it's not, I just made it up. I think it's a word. Ooh, look at that castle. Well, there's only one, and believe me, I looked, but it's so deco. I wish it were green and cream, but I'll take the red and cream anyway. It's only about $3, and I love that it says coffee. All right, that's a winner. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the front seat of the pickup truck. Oh, I just bought some Christmas lights. You're going to be surprised because they're not from the 1920s, 30s, 40s, or 50s. I'm going to show them to you. Well, I'll show them to you in a second. But look at this beautiful cobalt. Now, this one I have not seen before. I think it's old, meaning I think we are back in the 1930s or 40s. I can't be certain about that. I'm delighted that there are no chips on the top of it. And it really does have a lot of wear on the bottom of it. See all around in here, all of those scratches? And I've told you the story about a guy I knew years ago who tried to fake that. So I'll have to look and dig around. I do think it's an old one, and it's one as I said, I hadn't seen it before. And then I had to pick up, I love these silver overlay glass pieces with the silver. These always clean up very nicely, and this one will as well. So a nice 1, 2, 3, 4-part divided dish for your sweet gherkins, pearlized onions, and black olives. I remember as a boy in the 1970s, my father's parents, they did a lot of decorating, and the gaudier the better. These Christmas lights I'm going to show you are ones that I remember, and they must have had them from sort of, I guess, the 50s and the 60s, maybe into the early 70s. I know you're going to remember some of these. Look at this old cardboard box. And then we see made in Japan on the back. Let's open it. And I know, believe me, I know, I'm going to plug them in and none of them are going to work. Nope. I know. This is the kind that you got to sit on the floor and test every single light bulb. And I will do just that and get these things working again. Who remembers these from the 1960s and the 70s? Boy, I sure do. Look at that little cord and the little tiny plug. Oh, yes. I stand corrected on this one. Listen to this box. It says, if one light burns out, others will remain lit. They must have paid extra for that. Make certain that the clear blinker bulbs are tightly screwed in. When the blinker bulb warms up, the set will flash. And this says manufactured in Japan. So the circuit isn't broken when one bulb goes out. So we might be okay with this one. And look, here's the blinker. And the blinker does screw in. Wait, get it in there. See that? So, you remember these? I had to get, I've got 2 more sets to show you. I had to get them. But I'm sure some of these are not going to work. Look at this set here. Once again, is that lady, why is she smiling at me? I guess because she sees me sitting in here. Look at this set. Look at these. Again, classic sort of 1960s with these plastic. Look at this. Now, that whole plug is, oh my word, look at that. Okay, so we're going to have to fix that. That's a hot mess. But I couldn't resist. I've got to try to get these working again. This is really from my childhood. And for some of you as well. Now, this is the set I remember old grandma having. We had your 2 grandparents. We had grandmom, that was my father's mother. And we had Granny. Grammy was my mother's mother. Let's pull this set out. Look at this. So you remember that? I do. Yeah. Now they may be reproducing these today. I don't know. I suppose they are. But these are the old-timey ones from the 60s and 70s. So it'll be fun to sit on the floor, brew up some iced coffee, and fiddle with all of those light bulbs and see if we can get them running again. What do I do with them after that? I don't know. Probably sell them or put them in the attic and wait till next year. All right. That's 1 shop down and 3 to go. I love it. I realize so far you're not getting any footage from inside of the stores. I'll see if I can film for you in the next 2, but let's see what I just picked up in store number 2. mixing bowl. Now that goes back to the Depression era, and I always forget whether this shape was a Hazel Atlas, Federal, or Anchor Hocking, but it's one of those three. And I want to say Hazel Atlas. This reminds me of the Hazel Atlas platinite type of glass, milk glass. So that's a little mixing bowl there, which actually does go back to the Depression. Okay. Another clear glass swung vase. And this one also seems to be mostly desirable in the various colors, but this is an antique example. And then I picked up two cute little fat little elephants with their trunks up, which doesn't make any difference to me. Oh, I don't remember. I was watching somebody's channel and they were like, okay, enough with all this trunk up. Let's hear it for the elephants with the trunk down. Yeah. It's like, okay, the green glass doesn't glow. No worries. The elephant's trunk is down. It's all good. Well, in this case, his trunk is up. That red felt on the bottom indicates to me that this was made sometime after the Second World War. Normally, before that, the felt is that wonderful old green color, and it's more of a cloth. It's got string in it. I'm not sure. I know what I'm talking about, but I don't have the right nomenclature or adjectives or whatever, but I think you know what I mean as well. It's more of a felt type of cloth. Anyway, you see this a lot in the 1960s and even the 70s. But hey, two of these in excellent condition, and aren't they as cute as they can be? Nice and heavy, and the patina on those is sweet. Oh boy. Oh. Do I need another one? No. Now, we all know this is Anchor Hocking's Forest Green Punch Bowl set, mid-century. And I didn't count the cups, doesn't matter to me, but always double check when you see these, and normally it's all taped up like this. Look down in there and see if the base is in there. There was a base that these stood on, and a lot of times that base is missing or gone. Now you'll still find those bases, but that made it extra sweet that the base is in there, and so this is complete. So that's the second one I have. Now these are a little bit of a beast to ship. I want to explain that because somebody might be willing, to pay a certain amount of money for this, and then they go in sticker shock when they see the shipping and they think, oh my goodness, are you trying to rip me off? No, you can't ship this like this. You can't ship this with all of those cups taped inside of that bowl like that. You're going to get shards of glass. The other thing is, this is a 10-inch punch bowl. Now, if I put this down in a 12 by 12 by 12, that is snug. 1-inch diameter around the thing. So 10 inches, 12 by 12 by 12 box. I'm only getting 1 inch. That ain't much because it doesn't take a whole lot to break this glass. You really need more room than that. Now, that's just for the bowl. You can get a couple of the cups down inside of here as well as the base, but then you'd have all these cups you got to wrap individually. So you've really got to ship this in 2 boxes. Now you say, well, just put it in a larger box. Well, you know that as soon as you go over 12 by 12 by 12 cube, the shipping can jump astronomically. It's amazing. You have a 12 by 12 by 12 box, the shipping might be $9.38. You jump up to a dimension larger than 12 inches and the shipping sometimes can just double. It's not, the shipping is different than it was years ago. So I'm going on and on about that because a lot of times people will want one of these, but then they don't realize, all right, I really need to ship it in 2 boxes. 1 box just for the cups, most of the cups, and then another box for the base and the bowl. And I'm taking a risk putting it all in 2 12 by 12 by 12 boxes. And if you're out in Texas and I'm here in Jersey, South Jersey, Philadelphia, Delaware Valley area, you could very easily pay more in shipping than what you paid to buy the punch bowl. Just going on and on about that a little bit to help folks, because a lot of times people will, oh, you should have gotten that, you should have bought that. Well, if you've ever had to ship one of these and see what it's like, or even to calculate the shipping on it, you really do think twice. So having said all that, I also say there are a lot of folks, they want what they want. Listen, shipping is not an issue. They'll pay the shipping because this is a service that I'm providing, and they might not be able to find this in the area where they live. And in that case, the old expression that I don't like to use because it's so trite, it is what it is. You normally don't hear me say that because people say it all the time. But shipping is what shipping is. Yeah. So now, very different if you're buying it and sticking it in an antique store. Then you just buy it, get the sticky tape off of it, stick it in an antique store, put a price on it. That's a lot easier. But shipping, so why did I buy it? How could you say no? Don't tell me it's the return of the kitchen counter thrift haul. Well, sorta, kinda. We're gonna go into this very gently. It's the return of the kitchen counter thrift haul with some major changes. We're on the old Hoosier cabinet today. And I'm just going to show you a few things that I purchased today while I was out and about, running around to different thrift shops in the area. Oh, by gosh, by golly. Is that the Hazel Is that the Hazel Atlas crisscross set? It is. The refrigerator set. Now, yep, cobalt blue, pink, green. Pretty desirable. The crystal, I love it. And we've got the two long rectangular ones, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then the big square on the bottom. How about that? The condition is phenomenal. Just a few flea bites on the rims of the inner lids. So I'm going to have to make a decision. Once I finally get a refrigerator up here in this kitchen, I might be keeping this set. I just might be, because it's in such great condition. And boy, Hazel Atlas crisscross pattern. So 1930s. And then here's this mixing bowl. I still didn't bother to go and look it up. I just can't remember. But I want to say that it's like the Hazel Atlas platinite type stuff, but I know it's in my Jean Florence book, which is in the other room. Look at this little refrigerator dish here with its wonderful Art Deco lines. You see that on the top? Yeah, now we'll take the lid off and we can see there's a pretty big chip out of the inner rim. Now, I don't like that that's there, but it doesn't affect the ability to use this refrigerator dish. You don't see that when the lid is in place, and we'll turn it upside down. And how about that? Made exclusively for Westinghouse by the Hall China Company. So you probably got a set of these for free when you bought a refrigerator or a stove, probably a refrigerator, back in probably the 40s. Now, look at these two candlesticks. I've not had an opportunity to go through my books yet. We had missing prisms, so I took all of the prisms off of one, and we had just enough to complete one candlestick. So I'll dig around in the basement. I know I've got replacement. Now, these are the glass prisms. So I'll be able to replace it. Without the prisms, you can see it has almost like a deco look to it on the stem. I haven't seen these before. I'm not familiar with them. And that's not a Bobesch attachment. That's actually part of the mold there. So you will use these, or I will use these with the prisms in place. Let's put this. And bear with me because, again, this is the very first time I've filmed in here in the kitchen on this counter, and I don't have everything just the way I want it yet, and the lighting and everything, but you know we'll get there. So we'll get the prisms for this one and have it looking very snazzy again. Coffee. So 30s, so Art Deco. The way that the font is on the letters. And also from the 1930s kitchen. Now we're going to have to do a lot of restoration here. I was delighted to find this single slice toaster. Yeah, see there? One slice at a time. So untested, unknown. Let me hold it for a second now. Move this out of the way. But in a restorable condition, and you know me, I will be tackling that soon. And then I was over the moon to find this waffle iron. And the reason why is I'll stand up so that you can see. We have and it came with its cord, and here is the cord. If we stand up, now this thing is filthy, but actually that's considered very clean, the inside. The outside is dirty, but we don't have a lot of crud on the waffle iron itself, which is great. I can clean them, I've done that before, but look at the porcelain top. Let me try to get it to where I'm not blocking the light. There is that bird of paradise, as it was sometimes called, that was seen as a motif quite often in the 1920s and 30s. This would have been part of a larger breakfast set. Now that's a porcelain insert, and there were Royal Rochester and Porcelain and a couple other companies did that. So this would have originally come with a percolator, old fiddlesticks, a whole breakfast set.
The coffee is steaming, oh boy how I'm dreaming, while I'm cooking breakfast for the one I love. My baby likes bacon, and that's what I'm making, while I'm cooking breakfast for the one I love. Our life has been so nice and chummy, right from the start. When I won her tummy, I won her heart. My baby is happy, no wonder I'm happy, while I'm cooking breakfast for the one I love.
Porcelain even made toasters that had porcelain sides. Yes. Right? Okay, so that motif would have been carried out on the entire breakfast set. So there's the waffle iron. Now, it was acceptable if mother was fortunate enough to have a domestic in the 1920s or 30s. Mother would still often be with the family at the breakfast table. And the reason why it's so fancy, you wouldn't have to have anything this fancy if it never left the kitchen. But this was meant to be used on the breakfast table out in the dining room with a nice percolator and, as I said, all the other accoutrements. And father and children could have a nice, very fancy breakfast. And that's the way they did it for, a few years back in the 20s and 30s. So this is going to need a lot of cleaning, no worries. I think the handles are a painted wood. They are. Yeah, let's see. I know my focus. There we go. But we'll be able to get all this thing cleaned up, and we'll fire it up, and we'll have a waffle party at some point, including using that toaster. So how neat it is to find these 1930s kitchen items, these 3 items here from the 1930s kitchen, and the refrigerator dishes and the mixing bowls and everything. So I was really happy about that. Okay, so I will back up again and tell you about 1 or 2 other things. Be right back. And over here drying on the sink is the big Anchor Hocking punch bowl with all the little punch cups. And there's the base I was telling you about. And then, so everything is still a little wet. The punch bowl itself then, of course, sits on the base like that. And then the punch cups, and then there's some red, 4-footed red sherbets. And yeah, I'll be using them in the china closet because I need a little bit more red to give the dishes a little bit more of a pop. So let me very carefully put this back here where it was. Okay, that's fine. And then what else have I got? Well, some of these are my own dishes, so ignore that. But I've gone and cleaned that swung vase. And I picked up 2 sherbets. Now these are probably the Hocking Miss America. I'm almost certain they are. It's not the quality of Duncan and Miller. I'm still memorizing the difference between, I'm sorry, not the Duncan and Miller, the Westmoreland. I'm still memorizing the difference between the English hobnail and the Miss America pattern, which you can tell them apart, and I'm mixing them together. And then when I do my snow and ice sale, which is going to come up sometime in January, probably not the first Monday in January, I'll let you know. This Fenton piece here still has its label on it, and we'll try to get some candles to put down in there and give you the whole effect, you know, with the I've never seen one with all the candles in it. Okay, and so those other things are my own dishes. We won't worry about those. All right. Okay, I've moved over to the small porcelain top breakfast table, and this is just a few of the home movies that I picked up today, very inexpensively. Most of the time I will find the tins and there's nothing there, but guess what? The film is inside, and we're gonna fire these up at some point, and like voyeurs, we're gonna be looking at somebody else's home movies. But I'm excited because on here, among other things, we've got Pappy and Aunt Ella. I can't wait to see them. And Xmas of 1956, among other things. That'll be fun. We'll turn this one over. And here we've got Christmas of 1958 and 59. And they had some birthdays. And then they went to Mount Vernon in 1959. That should be good. And then this one says, Alan and Jody in New Jersey, birthday something, Christmas of 1957, and Mom and George's wedding. So these will be a lot of fun. There are folks who just collect other people's old home movies and put them on the internet. That should be a lot of fun to do that. I've got to go and get one of the projectors out of the basement, and we'll do that some other time. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for watching. I'm happy that you went shopping with me today, and I hope you like the things that I got. We are going to be bringing them back to you sometime in an upcoming live sale or even in the eBay store, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss a thing. That's it for now. I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop saying thanks for watching, wait for the cat, and so long for now. Now, I've got a waffle iron to restore.